Still with us here in the studio, Robert Parsons, our chief foreign editor. Rob, we've spoken about foreign policy issues. We've spoken about Ukraine, the importance of a victory either way for Volodymyr Zelensky and what happens with the war against Russia. One of the other big burning issues in the world today, of course, is what's happening in the Middle East with the war in Gaza, the war in Lebanon, the possibility of that spreading further, Iran's possible involvement growing, those kind of things. Give us a sense of what either candidate means for that scenario.
Well, you know, I think with Kamala Harris, you'll probably get pretty much the same as we've seen with Joe Biden, although she will come under immense pressure to be tougher on Israel. And I think she's much more likely to get tougher on Israel than Joe Biden because of his past and his long-standing relationship with Israel. You know, Kamala Harris has seemed frustrated, particularly frustrated with Benjamin Netanyahu's government over the last few months. And I think she will use the most recent warning from the US government just 3 weeks ago to the Netanyahu government, unless they did something to drastically improve the amount of humanitarian aid that was getting into Gaza and to make it systematic, that the United States would consider taking measures like reducing the supply of military equipment to Israel. Given the fact that since that warning was made, Israel has taken steps against UNRWA, you know, the United Nations Organizations for Palestinian Refugees, which will seriously, drastically undermine the supply of humanitarian aid even more to Gaza than before. It's possible that if she becomes president that, you know, when she gets the chance to make a difference herself, you know, she wouldn't be inaugurated until January, of course, that she would follow through on those sort of threats to the Israelis, which is why, for sure, Benjamin Netanyahu favors Donald Trump as the next president of the United States. He has a good relationship with Donald Trump. They see eye to eye on a lot of things, have got a similar outlook on the world. You know, when Donald Trump was president the last time, he was very strong in his support of Israel. You know, unlike previous administrations, he decided to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of the Israeli state. He decided to move the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. You know, things that no other U.S. administration had ever contemplated. So he will continue to be very supportive. He's made that clear, you know, in recent weeks to Netanyahu, when Netanyahu was in the U.S. just not long ago, that, you know, you just get on and do what you need to do, is what he said to Netanyahu. But there's a problem in it, I think, for him, you know, because at the same time, Trump does not want to see the United States dragged into conflict in the Middle East. He's made this clear repeatedly, that, you know, that he wants to keep the United States out of conflicts which are far away and which are unpopular in the United States. So if Netanyahu decides, for instance, that he will respond to perhaps another attack from Iran in response to the last Israeli attack and attacks Iran again, Israel can only do that with the United States' help, with logistical support, which brings the possibility of the United States getting involved in a regional confrontation that much closer. So there is that risk for him at the same time. He will be faced by a dilemma.
Robert Parsons, as always, thank you very much indeed.